morning, everyone. My name is Karla, and you have reached my FlossTube channel, KarlaBeingCrafty, where I talk about mostly cross stitch, but also other crafts that I enjoy, and a little bit of life thrown in. Today is Sunday. It is May 9th. Happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers out there, and grandmothers, and aunts who help mother kids, and fur mothers, and good friends who mother their friends. So happy Mother's Day to everyone out there, male and female, who mother something, which is a lot of people, but a special Mother's Day to those who actually are mothers to children. You guys are very special people. As you know, this is my first Mother's Day without my mother. I am missing her today, but I'm also just feeling grateful that I have had her in my life for so many years. And I don't know, I think I might stitch a little bit on the piece that I have, the tribute piece that I have for her. Just put in a few stitches today in her honor, and yeah, and just send my good wishes to her, hopefully in heaven with my dad. And yeah, so happy Mother's Day to everyone. Weather here in Southern California, it is completely overcast and gray today. It actually looks like it's gonna rain, so I don't know. I would love it if it did rain because it's feeling a bit muggy. It's not super hot, but you know, it's not nice. It's kind of like outside. So but I'm not super complaining because I don't really love it when it gets really hot. I mean, I love it when the sky is blue and it looks sunshiny and pretty outside, but I don't like it when it gets too hot unless I am at a pool or the beach or something like that, or on vacation. Then the sun can shine and I'm happy. But when I have to trudge back and forth to work and it's hot, not so good. So I may have mentioned that my office is going to be moving probably this coming week and the next week. So even the thought of it stresses me out. It really does, just the idea of moving, because I'm not gonna say I've never had a move that was good. I have had several moves that were for good reasons, but in my most immediate experience, my moves have been stressful, and because my life was not necessarily changing in a great way. So I have a little bit of triggering with the idea of moving, and it's just not something I like. And moving my office, all I can see in the immediate future is that it is going to be a big pita, and not super looking forward to it. But you know, the inevitable is the inevitable, and I can complain and whine about it till the cows come home, and it's not going to change the fact that it has to happen. So my coworker and I will be packing, I think, the next 3 days. My boss so kindly scheduled the move at the end of the week where he's not even going to be in the office. He's going to be in Louisiana. So yeah, so we get to do it without him there, which on the one hand might be good, and on the other hand it seems kind of unfair, but it is what it is. Anyway, so that's what's going to be happening in my work life for the next week and a half. Let's see, I was over at my brother and sister's yesterday, as I do kind of like every other weekend now. We've kind of gotten into that pattern, and we went out to a restaurant for the very first time in like 18 months. It's like crazy. We thought about it. There was a shabu shabu restaurant that they had really been wanting to take me to before coronavirus hit, and we discussed it with the kids. The kids were a little bit like anxious at first, and we talked to them about it, and the restaurant, I think, did a very good job of keeping people very separated. They only let in a few at a time, and then filled up. The restaurant was kind of set up in like sections with walls anyway, so like we were in a little section, and then there was nobody near us, and then there was a section over there, and so they did it that way. It is a shabu shabu restaurant. If you're not familiar with shabu shabu, it's where you actually have a cooking pot on the table and you cook your meats and vegetables and noodles and stuff at the table, and then you kind of have it with rice and cool sauces and stuff like that. They bring the meat, but they do have like a buffet for the vegetables and like seafood. So we did have to go through a buffet, but again, they only had like 8 people allowed, you know, at the buffet line at a time. They didn't 100% stick to that, but everybody was wearing masks. Everybody was gloved. I felt like it was pretty safe, considering our numbers have gone down. California, we have, well, in our family, everybody is vaccinated. I will be considered fully vaccinated next Wednesday because I will have gone through my 2 weeks. Aaron and Stacy have already passed the 2-week mark for their after their second dose, and yeah, so it was weird and fun, a little bit anxiety producing all at the same time. But you know, it's kind of weird. We're kind of moving a little bit closer to the way things used to be. And I'm not going to say normalcy because, you know, I realize, like, for me and maybe for other people too, I always have this thing in my mind, like, I need to get things back to normal. Like, I need to get to my apartment to be all straightened out and back to normal and get rid of the chaos. The chaos is my normal. So I am always striving toward this ideal that I don't know if I've ever been there. So maybe it's time to embrace and enjoy my life in the chaos that it is, and you know, and just accept things for how that is. So I don't think our lives are ever going to be exactly the same as they were before the pandemic. I think we're always going to be more cautious out in public and in crowds, and perhaps that isn't a bad thing, because there's other things out there besides coronavirus. I mean, you know, learning to wash our hands a little bit more and maybe wear masks in big crowds, maybe not necessarily a bad thing, you know, for life going forward, you know, who knows. But anyway, so we did go out to dinner, and it was fun. I think that when I go over there in a couple weeks, Aaron and Stacy and I are going to go to our very, very, very favorite sushi restaurant that we wanted to go to for my brother's birthday in 2020. It was his 50th birthday last year, and he so wanted to go. We didn't get to go. And then we wanted to go for my birthday, and we didn't get to go. And then we wanted to go for Stacy's birthday, you know. So we, during this whole pandemic thing, we kept saying when things get back to normal, we will be going to this restaurant that we adore. And it's actually going to be a grown-up night. They have actually called a younger sister of a friend who's in college, who is available to babysit, and it's actually going to be an adults-only night, which it hasn't been like that in a very, very, very long time. So that should be a lot of fun. Let's see. Oh, before I forget, I wanted to show you guys some artwork that I got yesterday that is pretty impressive. So we were sitting around. It was funny, yesterday afternoon, everybody was in a crafty mood. So we're talking all 6 of us were sitting around Aaron and Stacy's dining table. Stacy was doing a diamond painting because she has a deadline. She's doing it as a gift for somebody, and is set herself this ridiculous deadline. So she's diamond painting furiously. Reagan was also doing a diamond painting that she is making for a friend's birthday this summer. So she also has a deadline. I was stitching. My brother was working on one of his models. And then Logan wanted to be with us. So he pulled over his computer and his special drawing pad that attaches to the computer. So he does, he's very artistic, but he is starting to actually draw on the computer. I see, you know, maybe future Disney Animation Studios executive here. But anyway, so he was working on that. And then Hudson was like, well, I want to draw. So he came over and he got his paper and his colored pencils and his pens. And he started drawing. And he asked me, what is my favorite Disney movie? And I said, Tangled. And then he was thinking like, well, who's in Tangled? And we're all like, Pascal. And he's like, oh, I'll draw you Pascal. So he drew me Pascal from Tangled. And that is like, you know, I mean, he was looking at a picture to copy it, but that's freehand, guys. This is a 6-year-old's drawing of Pascal from Tangled. And I think it's pretty good. And then he asked me what colors I wanted him, and I said I wanted him to be rainbow. And he told me no, I couldn't have him rainbow. I'm like, yes, he can be rainbow. He's a chameleon. But he made me choose just 2 colors. So I said green and pink. And there's Pascal. So you can tell I'm a true doting aunt because I have like children's artwork everywhere. Okay. So that's all for the, you know, non-stitchy life stuff. The next thing I want to show you, it's kind of like part haul, so it's coming at a different time in my video, but I kind of wanted to show you this now. So I jumped on the bandwagon of fabric organization that I believe was started, and there's 4 of them, and I know Erica and Jody and Kristen and I think it's the one that I can't remember her name, is the one who did the video. But anyway, she showed a fabric storage sort of method using comic book boards, backing boards, and pins and that kind of thing. And then I saw Michelle Bendy-Stitchy had done it as well using that method, and it looks really cool. I got a little cabinet thing a couple months ago I showed you that is working really well for storing my DMC, and I had the bottom 2 drawers. I put my fabric in there because I had the fabric in a couple different bins and stuff. The problem with having the fabric in, first of all, I'm overflowing the drawers, and second of all, you know, it's all like wadded in. Well, it's not wadded, it's laid folded nicely, but you can't see it. You have to like pull everything out or pull the whole drawer out to riff through it to see what you have. And that's why I found this method that the Steel City Stitchers showed really appealing, because you can see what you have. So I did make a couple tweaks. So I have only started. Oh, excuse me. So I got this fabric box, and it's not gonna be big enough. I've got a couple more on order because I thought this was pretty. I am in such a small space that if I have a storage thing like this, it has to look nice enough that I can leave it out, because I don't have any place to put it. I do have like 1 closed closet, but the reality is if I shovel my fabric back in the corner of a closet, I'm never going to pull it out. So that kind of like, you know, blows the whole point of having it neatly organized so that I can look through it to pick stuff. So I got this box, which was fairly inexpensive. It folds up. But it's fabric covered, and I think it looks pretty. So, and I like the sage green color. So, oops. So I only, so far, this is my 14 counts. Okay, so the whole thing with this method is that you take a comic book board, sorry, my brain, and I think I got 100 for, I think the pack I got was like $16 from Amazon. And then you wrap your fabric, and what they were showing is pinning it. So one of the tweaks that I made is, instead of using those T-pins, I have it in my head, and this is from when I was a child and my mom and leaving needles to fabric, that you don't want to put metal in your fabric because it can rust, it can mark your fabric, whatever. So while I was looking for the boards, they also had a box of 250 of these plastic, these are collar clips or something that you use for clothing. They had a box of 250 of these for $6 and something. So I got that, and that is one of the tweaks that I made, that I am putting my fabric on the board, and you know, I'm wrapping it around, and then I'm using these plastic clips instead of the pins to secure it to the board. And I'm doing it, you know, sometimes I'm putting them at the top, sometimes I'm putting them at the bottom. Part of it has to be with, you know, how the fabric is going to be, show me the example of the fabric the best. I have one fabric here that is a really huge piece, so it's super thick. So I just did it on the side, and I did part of it, and the rest is just kind of wrapped around and loose, but it's not going anywhere. So that's one of the tweaks I did. And then the other tweak that I did is I took some Avery labels, just regular mailing labels, and I made a little template that says count, type, dyer, and size, so that I can kind of have it uniform. So now my decision that I have to make, since I finished the 14 count Aida, is when I go to the 16 count, do I want to put the fabric over on like this side of the card and have the label here, so that I think it might take up less room in the box, or it might be easier squishable if not everything has its thickness on one side. I don't know if that makes sense, but anyway, so I did this last week. I got all the supplies and I made the little labels and started, you know, working on the organization. And I'm not gonna like kill myself getting it all done one day, although I think I might do a little bit more today. But I do like this method, and I do feel like it's way more organized, and it's really easy to see my colors. I know some people like to organize it, you know, by colors, you know, so they have like it in rainbow, and it looks gorgeous that way. I think for me, I will organize it by fabric count and type, because I'm definitely going to be looking for fabric counts, like how big is my project going to be, and then I do have the sizes on there, so I know if I will be able to fit the project. But I am liking this, and you know, so occasionally you get into that I really want to organize stuff mode, and that's where I'm at. So this is the brand of comic book boards that I got, and because they're for comic book collectors, they're acid free and everything, so they're good for your fabric. And yeah, so that is my little organizational project that I'm working on right now. And so I would say that the cost of the whole doing it, like I said, the boards were like $16, and these little dealies were under $7, and the labels, I mean, I didn't pay for the labels, I just got a few sheets from work, but you know, I don't know what the cost of a pack of labels is, and you certainly don't need to do that. You can just write right on the cards. But I also thought, like, if I use a piece of fabric, it'll be easy to either take that label off or put a label right over it, a new label. So so I liked that idea, but I just did my sheet of labels. And yeah, so that is me jumping on the fabric organizational bandwagon. So how do you guys have your fabric organized? I'm sure everybody has different methods. Again, I have so little space. If I had, you know, a dedicated craft room or something like that, my organization may be very different, because I would have a cabinet that I could use, but I don't really have anything usable. I mean, my only storage really in this whole apartment, I have, like I said, my one clothes closet, and then I have this hutch thing, which, you know, is full of dishes that were handed down to me from my grandmother and my mother, and I'm never gonna get rid of them because I love them. They're desert rose. I'm slowly putting a few stitched pieces in there among the dishes because I need places to display stuff, but I don't have a lot of storage space, so I have to get clever, and I have to be realistic about needing the things to be easily accessible. Otherwise, that isn't a valid method for me. My crafts in the past, like, year and a half, 2 years that I've been stitching, definitely my craft area has like kind of grown and is encroaching on I used to have a big work area. Now I have a big like storage area with a little work area in the middle. So every so often I have to like reorganize and redo and redesign how I keep everything, because otherwise, speaking of which, I have stuff falling over right here. Yeah, otherwise it starts to become unusable. So, but that was my big project that I started this week for stitching stuff, and it is nowhere near finished, but it is a good start, and I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying how it looks in the box and everything. Okay, so now it is time to get onto my stitching, and I don't have like a new finish, but I do have the finish that I showed you last week, and I got it sort of FFO'd. So I thought I would show that to you because I have not mailed it to Tracy yet. And I just put it, as I said, in this little hoop, trimmed it, and then I covered the back with sticky felt. And normally, like if I was keeping this at home, I would probably end up gluing this felt down around the edge, because it does tend to lift. I don't want to do that before I mail this, only because if during shipping the fabric loosens up a little bit, or something gets wonky, or this, you know, pulls over and is not, you know, is cockeyed, and if she needs to take it apart for any reason, I want her to be able to easily pull back this felt, which she can at this point, and be able to fix something. And then if it is bothering her, then she can glue it with hot glue or Aleene's glue or Elmer's glue, whatever, to make it more permanent. But for right now, it's just a sticky back felt. It's actually 2 pieces because the pieces I have aren't big enough, but I think it looks really pretty. She's very anxious to get it. She has an idea that she was telling me about on Friday. She's been taking photos of the birds and stuff in her backyard. And she is thinking that she wants to try and get photos of the real birds that I'm stitching for her, so that she can display my stitching and then display a picture of the real bird like next to it and stuff, which is kind of cool. And then the other thing is that she also has chipmunks and squirrels in her backyard, and she loves those as well. And we were talking, you know, on our Zoom call Friday. When I got to Stacy's house, she was already on the Zoom call with Tracy. And Stacy is like, now that she's stitching, she's like, I want to do a chipmunk or a squirrel for you, because Carly's doing all your birds. Let me do a chipmunk or a squirrel. So there's plans in the works for that. So yeah, so as friends, we're all kind of like sharing our crafting and making gifts for each other, and it's really cool. So Tracy's the one who's made me like the stitched dust covers and stuff, sort of hand designed and one of a kind, so that's really cool. So I have a couple of her pieces and bags and things that I'm using, and I'm sending her stitching. And now Stacy wants to send her stitching, and she at Stacy's birthday, she sent Stacy an Etsy gift card so she could get more stitching stuff, and it's all just, we're sharing the crafts as friends. It's really cool. Okay, so let's get on to whips. I actually touched quite a few things this week, so that's kind of exciting. And only one thing was not in my sort of mania plans, but I stitched on it while we were playing D&D because it's at a fill-in sort of place, and so it was really easy to stitch on and not have to really pay attention to a chart or anything like that. I did have several people chime in on sort of the mania, I don't want to say controversy, but whether or not it is appropriate to use that word. And at least the people that did, you know, come back to me said that they, even though a lot of them do know people who have bipolar disorder and who have problems with manic episodes or whatever, didn't seem to really have a problem using the word mania. I know a lot of people have changed to mayhem. I actually looked up both words in the dictionary to see, well, was one more benign than the other? And again, all these words are using MAY, so it is kind of a pun kind of thing. I don't know, mayhem kind of implied more violence. Mania implied that you are obsessive, overly excited, bordering obsessive about something, or in general, which I think does kind of apply to the way a lot of us feel about cross stitch, because we want to talk about it. That's why we have FlossTube, so that I have one so that I can sit here and talk about cross stitch once a week for 45 minutes to people who care, because if I talk about it in my real life to most people, their eyes glaze over because they really don't care that I got 10 new flosses and I'm really excited about it. So I don't know, Mania kind of fits and it doesn't really bother me, and as long as I am not hurting anyone by using that term, I probably still will say that I'm doing Stitch Mania. If it does bother somebody, please let me know and I will rethink, because I, as I said before, I want to learn, and I certainly don't want to do things that would intentionally hurt somebody. So I will take people's feelings into consideration, but so far nobody has expressed anything to me that said that they were really offended by using that term. So for now, I think it's okay. So I will use Stitch Mania. Anyway, so for Stitch Mania, which for me this year it's Cat Mania, and maybe a Cat Mania for all the years going forward. I know the Facebook group is closing, but I still think that this as an event is going to keep going, because why not? It's fun to have 1 month that's devoted to kind of doing something differently, and I'm enjoying doing sort of themed projects every month anyway. I started that this year, and so cats is May is good for cats, right? So okay, that got really kind of long-winded. Okay, so I worked on calendar cats one day. This is a pattern I got on eBay. I just saw it and thought that's really cool. This is the art of Edie Harper, who was married to Charlie Harper. Charlie Harper is a more well-known artist, perhaps, but he and his wife both had a very similar style. And I dyed 4 pieces of fabric for these 4 different charts. I'm working on the spring one right now. And oh, I hate it when I do that. Sorry, I just went to go move my needle minder and pulled it right off the fabric, which is not good because it has a needle attached to it. Okay, there we go. So I did a little bit more on the cat, the white, which, this doesn't seem like a very big piece of fabric, but it is actually a pretty small count. I think this is an 18 or a 20. It's not 20. It could be a 22. But no, I think it's an 18. But yeah, that cat has got a lot of stitches in it. So I did a couple rows of the white, and then I did a lot more of these green stems, and it's gonna be really cute. But it's gonna take a while because this is only the first of 4, and they all have those big stitch-filled cats. Okay, then I worked on Autumn Cat. This is an Owl Forest embroidery free pattern. I started it last year for Erin Two Martini Stitcher's birthday, because she was doing an Owl Forest thing, and at the time I didn't want to buy another pattern, and Owl Forest stuff can be a little bit expensive, especially since you're getting it from Russia. But they did have this free pattern. I abandoned this at one point, and then I saw it on Bree Stitching, I don't know, Brianna. I saw it on her channel and went, I should get that out. I should fix the problem that I had. So I did. But I still don't totally love working on this, I have to be honest. I'm doing this on a, this is a Hardanger red, obviously bright red fabric, and I like doing the little motifs. The big cat is kind of a lot of cat, and I like the way it looks and I like the way it's coming out. I just don't love stitching on it. But I have a hard time abandoning a project. because, you know, I start them because I like them, and it's just really hard. So I think it's good that I pulled it out and I did a couple out, you know, an hour or so's worth of work on it. It'll get done eventually, right? Okay, so that was that one. What is this? Ooh, night creatures. Okay, so this was one of my new starts for this month. The Gathering Place Night Creatures. This chart was a gift to me by Michelle Bundy Stitchy, and I kitted it up using mostly Mystical Diamond Art flosses. I wanted a chance to try out these flosses and use them, you know, kind of a big chunk of them in a project. So that is what I'm doing with this. And then there's a few other flosses in here. I have a couple Gentle Art, because that's what I have mostly is Gentle Art. And then this is a Needle Necessities. I think that, oh, and I have one Color and Cotton in here, or two. Anyway, so I'm making a bit of a colorway change in that the pods in this are charted to be kind of very like pumpkin, orange, yellow, gold, and I'm changing it to more like magenta, pink, coral colors. I don't have a huge amount done yet, but I did get some work done on the first pod here, and then that's part of the moon. And this is on a BestitchMe fabric. It's called Sleet, and it is an opal fabric, because I would say I use opal fabric at least 50% of the time. I really like them. You know, and you stitch what you love, right? And I love the sparkles, so I'm going to incorporate sparkles as often as is appropriate, and sometimes when it's not. Okay, this is Lila's Studio All Hallows Eve. And I am doing this as a SAL with Amy Sprinkleton Stitches. So we have a hashtag on Instagram. I think I posted 1 or 2 times. So it's hashtag All Hallows Eve in May. And if you would like to stitch on this, then please, when you post your pictures to Instagram, just add that hashtag so we can see your progress as well, because that's fun. So I am using a fabric that I got as a gift from Cindy Pope, and it just, when it came in, it was like, that's exactly the right fabric to use. It is turning out a little bit tone on tone with the border, but I think it looks really cool. And I got the moon done and the little birdie. And I think next time I work on it, I'm going to jump over and start the hat and the girl with her purple hair. Doesn't that look good on that fabric? Cool. This fabric is not the kind of stuff I typically like. I usually don't like stuff that's in the brown family. But I don't know, this one is just the right fabric. Okay, this is my my classic poo that I worked on last night. I'm trying to find the little picture. This is a huge project. When I started it, which I started it when I was a very young stitcher, meaning in 2019, when I didn't know really anything or what I was doing. Not that I know that much now, but I don't know. I'm a couple years in. Does that make me seasoned? I found this pattern and I wanted it so bad because it really reminds me of a really like nice story about my dad, which I've said a couple times. So, but anyway, So I wanted to stitch it in honor of my dad. And there had been this piece of fabric on eBay, and every time I went on eBay, it was like a very inexpensive piece of fabric. And I was drawn to it, but it was like, what would you stitch on that? Because it was like this sort of purpley blue fabric with these big pink splotches on it. And I'm like, I can't imagine what you would stitch on that. And then when I found this pattern and I remembered that piece of fabric, I'm like, oh my God, they look like big pink clouds. It would be perfect. So I got the fabric, and when I got it, I realized that this pattern is so huge that I really only have like an inch or two on each side of a margin. So I'm gonna have to do this as a wall hanging when it's done. But yeah. So that's the fabric. It's called Gelati, I think, and it's a dyer that doesn't exist anymore. But I finished the outline stuff on the balloon. There's only 4 colors in this. There's actually 3 colors. There's the black, and then there's the balloon color and the Pooh Bear color. I have obviously a lot more outline to do on the Pooh, and then there's like black bees. But the balloon part, at least, the black part is finished, so all that I need to do with that is fill in. Same with what I've started on the Pooh Bear. This is all fill in too. So it's a good project to work on when I don't want to have to look at a pattern. So I worked on the balloon last night. I got several threads in. This whole little section here was done. This is going to take me a very long time to finish because I don't work on it that much. But I am definitely going to cherish it always once it's done, because it does remind me of my dad. Oh, and I worked on Kitty Magic, which is my paid quick stitch that I started this month. It's sort of a monochromatic, except for the eyes are green. This has like 51 colors in it, so it's a lot of different tones of gray. I'm still at the point in this project where it's all kind of white and sparkly, and you can't see very much. But I got another 200 and something stitches done right here. This little section is mostly Rainbow Gallery. Hey, Baggy. I decided to use Rainbow Gallery on this one instead of Kreinik, just to try out the difference. And I'm liking it as well as I like the Kreinik, so and I think it looks good. I mean, it doesn't look like anything yet. I did have an idea with this pattern, and maybe other ones too. I'm trying to remember. I mean, so far it's been like 2 sessions, right? But when I finish my stitching session, I'm taking a photo and I'm keeping them in an album. And then when I get done, I want to compile them all into one of those videos where, you know, they all just, it goes right through all the photos, and you can see like the growth of the pattern. I think that might be cool. So that's Kitty Magic. And then the last project I worked on, which I haven't pulled this one out in a while, so I'm glad that it came out and saw the light of day, is, because it's actually one that I really, really love. And I'm keeping it in my little Best Aunt Ever bag that I got from the kids. I think I got this for Valentine's Day this year. It's so cute. And of course, that's perfect to keep this in, because if this is a project that I'm going to bring over on the weekends, it's a great bag to bring too. Okay, so this is Sampler au Chat by Jardin Privé. I'm doing this on a 20 count Aida. Hey, stay away. Stay away. 20 count Aida with silky thread. All right, come here. Sorry, we interrupt this program to say I have a needy kitty. I was gone yesterday, so now he wants more attention than usual. He's Mr. Kissy Face. Can you hear this purr? It's so loud. So loud. I don't like it when you eat my hair. Please don't eat my hair. Can I finish the video? can I finish the video and then we'll have treats? Okay? Okay, let me finish the video. Okay. Oh, no, he's still here. Oh, and I've got needle minders kissing. Okay. So I worked down here over the weekend. Sorry, I have a hanging thread. I did this little bit icon. This flower, the flower part was done, but the leaves were not. So I did that. I did the V and the W down here and this little fence and this N on Friday night. So I'm really liking this one, and when I do sit and work on it, I think it goes pretty fast. I personalized this. This was just a regular alphabet in here, and I did personalize it to say Karla loves baggy 2020. 2020 is when I started it. I figured I would commemorate 2020 because 2020 was such a weird year. I am hopeful that I will finish this year, but whether I finish it this year or next year, I will put a little date down at the bottom of when I finish it. This has down here the Z. It says Z and then it has like OE with the accent. And I don't know if that is like, I don't know why that's there. If that's was a personalization or if that's how they say Z, you know, like, but I thought Z was Z, so I don't know. But I'm going to take off that little OE and that's where I'm going to put the little date when I finish it. So that was all my whips, which was, you know, quite a few. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different things that I worked on this week. And considering that I spent one evening working on my fabric, that's not bad. Okay, so what is left to talk about? Haul, I guess. And I did show you part of it, which was the stuff that I got for the fabric. And then the other stuff that I got, just 2 other little things to show you. I was looking on Etsy at not project bags, but I really like the book sleeves as project bags. I'm enjoying that because they stack better for me in my limited storage area here. They stack better than more floppy project bags. I don't really like, I like the way vinyl front things look. I don't have one, so I can't really talk from experience, but I don't really want to keep my stuff in plastic. The plastic meshy ones somehow don't bother me as much, but even those I want to eventually try and get stuff out of those. Although the plastic meshy ones work really well in the storage because they slide in really good. Whereas fabric kind of sticks to each other and it's harder to get it in and out of my little storage tub. The book sleeves work better than project bags, so I do like book sleeves. I only get them when they're on sale, usually on Etsy. I have a couple different book sleeve makers that I like, but I happened to see this one. This is from Book Biffle. And I loved it. I had to get it. So they're kind of 50s pin up, but they're not little skinny minis. They're healthy looking girls. So this is the front and then the fabric on the back. And I got the largest size because that's what the picture showed, and there was a note that it was a large size that fit, you know, the fabric. So I didn't want to get a smaller one because it would cut off the picture. But I just love it. I just do. I like the 50s pinup look, and the fact that they're not little skinny models, but they're models that they're still skinnier than me, but they have more of my aesthetic than typical models. Just makes me love them. And in fact, I ordered a second one of these bags to give to Stacy because she also appreciates the more full-figured look. So that was the project bag that I got from Biffle, and I'm really excited I'm going to put my little snaps on this, and I don't know what project's going to go in this. I have to find something that works well in this one. And then the other thing that I got, so I showed you guys this before. This is Bella Filipina, the mermaid, Enchantress of the Abyss, which I just really love. And I think I'm going to start this in August, just because I like working on mermaids in the summer. Just how it is. And I got all the flosses and beads and stuff, but I was looking for a fabric for that. I ordered a fabric from, I guess it's Needleworkers Delight. I ordered a Silk Weaver Solo, and I guess Needleworkers Delight is the distributor of that, or I don't know exactly how it works. I ordered it a month ago, and I don't even think it's shipped out yet, and it's a solo, so it's like one of a kind, and they're there. And I got a confirmation email that I made the order, and then I've heard nothing else in 4 weeks. And I know stuff is behind, and I know all that. I'm still a little bit like it doesn't give me a good, I don't know. I mean, I ordered something that I knew was in stock. I don't order fabric to wait 8 or 12 weeks to get it. That isn't my personality. That isn't how I can't do that. So I order from people who have it in stock, or I order from their in-stock line. Anything that I've ordered from BestitchMe, I've ordered from the here it is, ready to ship. You're going to get it in a week or two. 1-2-3 Stitch is like, when I first started stitching, people told me, oh, it's like the Amazon of the stitching world. You'll get it in, a couple days. That's what I want. I want that, I don't want to say instant gratification, but I'm not the kind of person that wants to order something and wait 2-3 months to get it. No, that's just not how I work. So I did put in a message, a nice message. I wasn't like yelling or anything, but I'm like, what's going on? I haven't heard anything. And I put this order in a month ago, and it's one piece of fabric that you supposedly have in stock. I can understand they said take 7 to 10 days to ship. I haven't gotten a shipping notice. So why would it take 4 weeks to take a piece of in-stock item and stick it in a bag? That I'm not getting. I understand that COVID has created problems for suppliers and shops, but again, this isn't something that they have to wait for supplies to get. It's something that they have. So I don't know, maybe I'm being unreasonable. Let me know what your experience is, but for me, I don't think I would order stuff like that again, because I don't expect to have to wait that long. I expect to get stuff at least mailed out, within a week. And then if it gets lost in the mail or the mail takes forever, yeah, I understand. But I don't think it's even been sent, and it's been a month. So yeah, so that kind of annoyed me. Anyway, so the fabric that I got, all that being said, was a possibility for this Bella Filipina piece. But when it seemed like it was taking forever, of course, I got impatient, and I went on Etsy again, and I looked at I've realized one of my favorite dyers. I have to say, Hand Dye by Rolanda. Every time I go onto that Etsy shop and look, I want every single piece of fabric. And of course I don't get it because it isn't inexpensive. It isn't unreasonable either. It is the going price of fabric, but fabric's expensive, as we all know. But I found another piece that I thought would actually work really well for this Enchantress of the Abyss. And this is a 28 count, because Bella Filipina and Mirabilia, you want to use that count so the beads fit. a 28 count Lugana opal, and here's the piece. It's a little bit lighter than what's stitched in the model, but I just think it's really beautiful. I'm stitching my Bellatrix on a piece of hand-dyed Rolanda, and it's the same. I mean, this is her style of dyeing, and I just think it's so beautiful. So there's another piece that could also be a possibility, so I may eventually give in and get that one as well. I have a couple months before I'm going to start this piece to make a final decision, but for right now, this is the contender for the Enchantress of the Abyss, and I think all these colors would look good on it. And then while I was on there, you know, I had to get more than one piece because and this piece is a 22 count, so it's Hardanger. 22 count. There's something else to tell you. I'm looking like it's gonna tell me something else, and I just got this because I thought it was pretty, and it was a little bit less expensive, and it's completely washing out in the picture here. But it's lavender and blue and green, and it's really pretty. And I have no plans or anything for this. I just thought it was pretty, and I was in a mood to spend money, which I gotta stop being in that mood. Yeah, so that was it. That's all my haul and plans. I'm continuing to work on the same whips that I've showed you guys, all my cat mania stuff. I think I might want to pull out either Bellatrix or Wind Moon Fairy in the next couple days because I haven't stitched on them all week, and so I miss them a little bit. Mix in some of the ones that I haven't touched in quite a while. I haven't done cat collage in a while, so maybe I'll pull that out this week. I want to maybe put in a few stitches on the piece for my mom today, just because it's Mother's Day, and that might be a nice thing to do. And then continue to organize my fabric as time goes on. So eventually I will get it all organized. I have it right now all in just a big old bag. I did kind of like pre-organize it into counts, so that will make it easier to organize it into the boxes. But so that's what I got going on. But it's plenty to work on. I also have invited a friend over for first time in a long time to have somebody come into my apartment. So she's going to come over for lunch on the 31st on Memorial Day. She's the person who's going to take care of Mr. Bagheera while I am on vacation at the beginning of July. So she has to come over, you know, to get the key and meet him and that kind of thing. And so I thought that would be a good opportunity for that to happen and to get to have her over for lunch. So I do need to, you know, get rid of some of the chaos around here in the next couple weeks so that when she comes in, she's not horrified at my pigsty of an apartment. Yeah, so I have my work cut out for me in the next couple weeks. Anyway, I think that's it for now, you guys. I hope that until I see you again, you have a wonderful stitchy week. I hope you're having nice weather. I hope the weather here gets a little bit nicer. Either stay cooler if it's going to be overcast, not to be muggy, or to get a little bit more cool spring weather with nice skies but cool weather. That would be the ideal. But I hope you have nice weather. I hope you have fun stitching time. I hope that you have a wonderful Mother's Day celebration. And until I see you again, please remember to be content, be kind, and be crafty. This is Karla. Bye-bye, everybody.